All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, everybody, what's up? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by the stat guy, Dustin Reeves. How's it going this afternoon, Dustin?
It's going, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Had a big weekend in sports with baseball playoffs, wild card weekend going on, and of course, you still have NFL, college football. What'd you think about the wild card round of the baseball? No team that lost the first game of the series came back and won the series.
All the teams that I predicted to win lost, so it was a very interesting weekend for me. Honestly, I thought the only series that was not going to go 3 games was the Cleveland series, but I thought Tampa was going to end it in 2 games instead of Cleveland. But the rest of the series, I thought we were going to go 3 games, so I was surprised to see Toronto be eliminated in 2. I was surprised to see the Cardinals especially be eliminated in 2, and then obviously Padres and Mets went to 3 games, which I was not surprised to see there.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised they went to 3 games. I had the Mets winning that series, but Scherzer did not look good on was it Friday night at all.
Playoff Max Scherzer at his finest.
He didn't look good, and I didn't see a whole lot of the Saturday night game because I was doing a wrestling thing, but I saw that DeGrom pitched decent. I mean, they were able to get that win, but then Musgrove just shut the Mets down last night. But yeah, I was surprised that the Guardians swept the Rays. I thought the Guardians might have a chance to win that series, but I didn't think they'd beat them the first 2 games like that.
Well, I mean, they scored a grand total of 3 runs.
Many runs scored at all.
So, I mean, when neither team can hit, it's just a matter of who gets that one hit. And the Guardians had a 2-run home run by Jose Ramirez, and then the walk-off home run in the 15th by Oscar Gonzalez. That's all they needed.
Yeah, that game on Saturday was crazy. I didn't know if anybody was ever going to win that game. Nobody could get a big hit when they needed one. What you think about the divisional series kicking off tomorrow?
I think the division series has kind of played out into the higher seeds' hands for the most part. I like the Yankees to take the Guardians in 4. I think the Guardians will win game 2 because I believe that's the game that Shane Bieber is going to start. And if Shane Bieber pitches the way he did against the Rays, against the Yankees, I have the Guardians taking that. But outside of that, I don't think the Guardians stand too much of a chance, especially if they can't hit the baseball, because your pitching can be good, but you still got to be able to hit the baseball to beat the Yankees, and we all know the Yankees can mash with the best of them, so I think the Guardians are going to kind of be in a tough spot there. I think the Braves are in position to sweep the Phillies. I mean, they are division rivals. They know each other inside and out, but Phillies already had to go through Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola against the Cardinals, so now the Braves can set it up with Spencer Strider and the other guy, not Charlie Morton, but Max Fried in game 1 and 2, and you can put the Phillies in an early 0-2 hole before they kind of really know what hit them, and I don't think they can recover after that point. I think the Dodgers beat the Padres, but I'm not going to be surprised to see that series go 5 games, just because we've seen Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs, and he's kind of a similar situation to Max Scherzer. Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs is not nearly the Clayton Kershaw that we get in the World Series. So I think the Padres could steal game one from the Dodgers if Kershaw starts and then kind of go from there. But right now, I think Seattle's going to beat Houston. After the way they responded in Toronto, they shut them out the first game 4-0, and then they were trailing 8-1 against Toronto in game two and basically came back and made it look like it was nothing to beat them 10-9. There's just something with the Seattle team right now where I'm not going to be surprised to see them beat Houston, and I'm not going to be surprised to see them come out of the AL at this point. They know Houston very well just because they're in the same division. They have the starting pitching that I think can match up with Houston, at least the top three in that rotation with Gilbert, Robbie Ray, and Luis Castillo. I think Houston's got the advantage in the bullpen, and I think Houston has the advantage in terms of a more consistent offense just because they've been more consistent offensively. But something about the Seattle team has me feeling that they could be like the 2014, 2015 Kansas City Royals, where they just get to the playoffs and kind of go on that little run.
Yeah, that was crazy the way they came back from down 8-1 in that game, and it looked like it was all but over. Going to be a third game, and then they just got hot. But yeah, they're pitching what makes me think they're going to have a chance against the Astros. I agree with you. I could see the Seattle maybe winning that series. They're the one out of the lower seeds. I think they're the seed I think would give the best chance, kind of like you would give the best chance to move on. The Dodgers and Padres, I think, are going to be interesting just because if the Padres can pitch like they did in that series and then can hit the ball, their bats can stay hot. I think that's going to be an interesting series. Like you said, with Kershaw, you never know which Kershaw you're going to get.
But that's the problem with that series, though. The the Padres already went through their top three pitchers. So how are they going to line up their rotation for that series? Because if you're going to wait and to use Darvish until game 3, you could be in an 0-2 hole. Yeah. They essentially need to go Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove games 2, 3, and hope there's a game 4. And then obviously it depends on who they go with in game 1, but they got to at least hope to get game 1 because then they can guarantee that they can get Darvish, Musgrove, and Snell in there for at least one start.
Yeah. And then the Guardians, I agree. I don't think they're going to have enough offense to stay with the Yankees. They got a good pitching staff. They got a pretty good pitching staff. I don't see their pitching staff shutting the Yankees down like they were able to the Rays. But no, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm ready for it tomorrow. Kind of wish there wasn't the day off today, but we have Monday Night Football tonight, so that at least there is something to watch tonight. So you think who you said the Mariners may be out of the American League? Who you favor now in the National League now?
Everyone's pick's going to be the Dodgers, and rightfully so. You kind of look at what the Dodgers have done all year. You just kind of look at how consistent they've been. But we've seen this from the Dodgers how many times now, where they go and win 100 to 110 games in the regular season, and they barely get out of the first round of the playoffs and then can't even make it into the World Series. So for whatever it is, the Dodgers run that they've been on the last 10 years is one of the greatest runs in baseball history. But yet they only have 2 World Series appearances and 1 World Series title to show for it, which kind of shows you that they're more of a regular season team. And then once they get to the playoffs, they kind of turn into like an average team at best. Because of that, I'm picking Atlanta to come out of the National League just because they've been, I think, the hotter. I mean, Dodgers have been hot all year, but I think Atlanta's been the hotter team since the All-Star break and just the way they were able to catch the Mets after being down by so long all year.
Yeah, I can see the Braves, like you said, they've been the hottest team in baseball since the All-Star break. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Yankees just because I had the Yankees and Mets. Mets, of course, are already out, so I'm gonna stick with the Yankees out of the American League. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Mariners was able to make a deep run like that, because of their pitching staff and that they were able to get some timely hits when they needed it. And if they can keep that up throughout the playoffs. I think they're going to be a tough out in a series. I think that them and the Astros are going to be fun to watch. In the NFL, Matt Rule's out of the Carolina. Did that surprise you that they got rid of him this early in the season?
he should have been gone last year. I mean, he's proven that having success in college does not translate well to the NFL for the most part, and he showed that his first 2 seasons. He got off to a 3-1 start last year, and they fell apart. The year before that, they were sitting at, I believe, 4-2 or something like that, and they fell apart. This year, they're just 1-4, and there's really no signs of life with that team at all. And to make matters worse now, which honestly could be a blessing in disguise, maybe it was just reported that Baker Mayfield is going to miss the next 2 to 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain, which means Sam Darnold is going to go back in as starting quarterback. Steve Wilks, the former Arizona Cardinals coach for year 2, is going to be taking over for Matt Rule. And now what happens if Carolina wins the next 2 games with Sam Darnold at quarterback? Do you stick with Darnold the rest of the way, or do you go back to Mayfield when he's healthy?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Wilkes, he was the coach at Arizona. It was only Arizona for 1 year, right?
Yep.
With Rosen, and they got rid of him and Rosen.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, I don't know. Do you think if he finishes out the year strong, you think he'll have a chance of maybe getting that job?
I don't think so. I think Carolina needs a complete overhaul, mainly because they gave Matt Rule a 7-year contract. Yeah. And he didn't even make it through 3 years with that contract. So Carolina is going to need to overhaul that entire coaching staff top to bottom. I mean, I expect Wilkes to get a look depending on how he does. But more so, I think Wilkes is going to get a look from other jobs that opening up after this year if he has success with Carolina, just because Carolina can't afford to bring this entire coaching staff back and to fail again. They need to make sure they get it right, and if that means you fire the GM and then have the GM pick his own coach, then so be it.
Yeah, because I was just saw it come across. Rule had only won 11 games in his three years in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to stay around long. What do you think about some of the coaches' decisions yesterday to go for it on 4th down? Like the Chargers end up winning the game, but gave the Browns basically that game if they could just hit a field goal.
I mean, it's Brandon Staley, so does that surprise you?
I don't know how he's still.
And we've all said that the Chargers are a talented team. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. But ultimately, the downfall of the Chargers is going to come from Brandon Staley because of his decisions to go for it on 4th down as much as he does.
Yeah, well, you're up by 2 points. Cleveland have no time left in the 40, and go the ball and play defense. I mean, a field goal will beat you, and they just got lucky that Cleveland missed a field goal. We've seen that a lot. It seems like we've seen a lot of like last night, Cincinnati Bengals turned down a field goal, and then that could end up being the difference in the game. And then before that, the Ravens decided to take a field goal, and they were all over Harbaugh about that at first. It's like, well, last week he didn't take the field goal and you guys buried him. This week he takes the field goal and you're burying him. So he was in a no-win situation there. Yeah, I mean, it killed the Bengals, though. You get down the 2-yard line, don't get no points. Next possession, you get a touchdown. If you took that field goal, you'd have been up by 4, and then Baltimore would have needed a touchdown to beat you instead of field goal.
Yep. In terms of Staley, I think the Chargers are willing to ride it out at least for this year. But if he goes and costs them another playoff spot because of his decisions, his seat's going to be melting by the time next year starts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If I don't think he has many more mistakes like that he can make, especially like you said, because he cost them playoffs last year where the Raiders were content with the tie. And he cost them that, not just that. And that wasn't the only game he made some terrible decisions with the
he cost them the division the week before against Kansas City for some of the plays he made.
I understand being aggressive, but you can only be aggressive to a point. You can't be aggressive to a point where it hurts you. Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to see a lot of these coaches go too analytical, and they put if it don't work out, you put your team in some tough situations.
Yes, you do, and it's happened with baseball too. Coaches are starting to play the analytical thing a lot more than what they should. They should just look at what the score is, look at the game flow, and base it off of that. They got to get away from this analytical thing, because if sports were analytical, they wouldn't be played the way they're played. You can't play a game based off of analytical projections and things like that. You play a game based on skill, and you play a game based on talent, not analytical projections. Otherwise, if you played on analytical projections, teams like Carolina would be a 9-win team because they were predicted to win 9 games this year.
Yeah, I've never understood why you want to hire a manager. Well, now it's even in football too, or a coach, and then you want to have guys up that aren't even on the field that can have the feel of the game, making the decisions. And you see that a lot in baseball with these, like you said, with the analytics. You're starting to see it more in football, and just to me, you want your coach or your manager that's out there on the field, has a feel for his team. They should be the ones making that decision, not some guys up in the booth that are looking at some numbers. Oh no, this gives you your best probability. Well, if like you said, if it always went by probability, there wouldn't be no reason to play the games. There wouldn't be no upsets. There wouldn't. I mean, so I just don't understand, especially in baseball. Why even have a manager in the dugout if you're just going to let these analytic guys make all the decisions, and the manager's basically a puppet a lot of the times.
Yeah, I'm on board with like teams kind of in the position like the Houston Texans or the New York Jets, and like a lot of teams that I would consider the bottom feeders for the last couple of years. I'm on board with them kind of playing the more aggressive, more analytical way, just because at that point, what do you have to lose? You come into the game expecting to lose. So if you go for it on 4th down and you don't get it, well, you lose anyways. Nobody really expected you to win. But if you go for it on 4th down, then all of a sudden you convert and you win the game, well, then that works in your favor, as opposed to teams like the Chargers or like all these good teams that are expected to win. You're talented enough to win these games without having to go the analytical side of things. You're talented enough to win without going for it on 4th down, or without choosing not to kick a field goal, because your talent is better than that other team's. Just go out there and coach to your talent, and the wins will translate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Cowboys. You think they got the Eagles coming up this week? They got another win yesterday, which they want. I know everybody there's a lot of people are saying that keep rush in, which I'm not saying I'm against that, but you also have to look at stats yesterday. They had in like 12 possessions, had 10 game. Their defense is really carrying them. Do you think they're going to bring Prescott back in for this big division matchup against the Eagles? Or you think they keep him out? I keep him out until he's 100% healthy. They're still saying he has grip issues. Why bring him in? I mean, your backup's done his job. He's kept you in it. Why Dak has been out? So why rush Dak back and get him re-hurt?
I mean, it is Dallas, so we already know that they're going to bring Dak in, even if he is not 100%, because this is pretty much a must-win game at this point for Dallas, because if you lose, technically you're going to be 2 games back in the standings, but really 3, because the Eagles are going to have that tiebreaker on you. So you need this win to at least have the tiebreaker on him right now at this point. But I've said it, and I'll say it again. At this point, I'm not benching Cooper Rush. I don't care how much money Dak Prescott is making. I don't care if he's even 100% healthy at this point. I do not bench Cooper Rush, because I'm looking at this as a similar situation to that Minnesota situation in 2017 where Sam Bradford got hurt, Case Keenum comes in, and the team goes 12-3 with Case Keenum as the starting quarterback, even though Sam Bradford was healthy enough to come back 4 weeks after he got hurt. Sometimes you need to ride the hot hand, and right now Cooper Rush has a hot hand for Dallas. They're 4-1. The only loss that they have was with Dak Prescott as the starting quarterback. Yeah. He's 4-0 this year. He beat Minnesota on the road last year, so he's 5-0 as a starter since filling in for Dak Prescott, which, although, yeah, that is a limited sample size, but he is a game manager that knows how to win games, and when you look at how good Dallas's defense is, you don't need a guy to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns a game in Dallas. You need a guy like Cooper Rush that just goes out there and doesn't make mistakes.
And another thing, I think what Cooper Rush does, Kellen Moore calls the game different, and they stay with the run more and don't get away from the run. I think that helps Dallas. But I agree. If you are going to bring Rush in, you definitely don't bring Rush in bring Prescott in. You definitely don't rush him back. You have to wait till he's 100% healthy. But I stay with the high games. Well, why change it? Because to be honest, Prescott didn't look good the first game when he got hurt. If I remember right, he had like a 12 passer rating or something. I know they were playing Tampa Bay, who has a good defense, but it wasn't like Prescott was killing it before he got hurt that first game.
No.
So I mean, I stay with Russ. I'd stay with them till the wheels fall off, kind of like you said. But definitely don't rush Prescott back. That's the biggest mistake you can make because you bring him in, you bring him back. From one, you can run your offense's chemistry that they've got right now. Not that they're blowing it up, but like you said, with that defense, you don't have to score 35 points a game. Just don't turn the ball over and make a couple plays here and there when you can, and you'll be fine because that defense is playing lights out right now.
Exactly.
Greg said, "Who y'all got winning tonight?" Greg, I'm going to have to go with your Chiefs. I can't. The Raiders just haven't showed me enough with McDaniels to pick the Raiders over the Chiefs.
I think this could be a trap game for the Chiefs, mainly because that Buffalo game is hanging out for next Sunday between the Chiefs, and they may just kind of look past the Raiders a little bit, trying to get to that game, but I do think the Chiefs win. But that game next Sunday against Buffalo is going to be epic.
Yeah. And then ask, does Russell Wilson deserve as much blame as Hackett?
No. Hackett's the one that's calling these plays. Hackett's the one that's trying to make this offense an Aaron Rodgers style offense, and it's not going to work with Russell Wilson. You can't run an Aaron Rodgers style offense with Russell Wilson because it's not the same type of quarterback. That's the only reason why Nathaniel Hackett was hired, was because he told Denver that he could get Aaron Rodgers to go there if they brought him there. The fact that he did not get Aaron Rodgers to go there, Hackett's not going to make it into year 2. I think he's going to be gone after this year.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he's going to be gone. No, I don't think Russ deserves as much blame. Russ hasn't looked the same. I think he needs to get back to running the ball some. And if that's Hackett not wanting him to run the ball, then Hackett deserves to be now, because when Russ is running around making some plays, that's when he's at his best. He's not a guy that's at his best just standing in the pocket and trying to pick teams apart. Man, that was a rough game to watch Thursday night. I'm a Colts fan, but damn, that was a rough game.
I give you credit for sticking in and watching that game, because I don't know if I could, even if I was a fan of either team.
We was doing a watch along for it. I ain't gonna lie, about halftime, I was almost ready to just go ahead and end the watch along. I stuck with it. The only reason is because back when Peyton came back and beat Tampa Bay years ago that night on Monday Night Football, I went out with a couple friends to watch the game, and they were like, "Oh," one of them left. And the other one's like, "Hey man, you ready to go?" Because I gave him a ride there. And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna drink." I said, "Let me finish my beer and then we'll leave." Well, then Colts finally actually scored a touchdown that game, and I end up staying and watching it all. And I'm like, "Dude, if I'd have left, I'd have missed it." So since then, I always watch the whole game. But what killed me about that was all the Denver fans that were leaving the stadium as the game was going into overtime. You don't see that very often. You see fans leave like toward the end of the game if a game's a blow or something, but not when the game's getting ready to go in overtime. You don't see a bunch of fans heading toward the exits. But yeah, Denver, for a team that everybody thought was a quarterback away, they just haven't been that yet. I do think a lot of it is Hackett. You have to, I don't know, some of the play calling and it just don't make sense. And I mean, there was times during that game that you had two receivers in the same spot. Like when he threw that one deep ball, you had two guys there, two Denver guys, both in the same spot going after the ball. It's like that shouldn't be happening. So that has to go back on the coach. And then again, at the end of the game, throwing the ball in that situation was stupid. I mean, nobody scored a touchdown all game. Why not run the ball at the very least, take the field goal, put you up by 6 where the Colts have to go down and get a touchdown to beat you. Instead, you try to throw it in the end zone and gets interception, and then they can come down and get a field goal to tie you.
Yeah.
That was another one of them situations, like end of the game management. and he hired somebody to help him with the game management. That's why he even made it worse.
Yeah.
You hire a guy for that, and it still didn't work out for you. What do you think? What do you think about? I know they put in these new concussion protocols, and everybody's been talking about it all day about the sack at the end of the Tampa game. Did you think that should have been a penalty?
For the penalty for the hit or for what?
Yeah, they gave a penalty for the hit when the guy sacked Brady there at the end of the game and gave.
There was no way that was a penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a standard tackle that you see when a running back gets tackled. That's a standard tackle you see when a wide receiver gets tackled. That's a standard tackle you see when a quarterback gets tackled. The fact that it was Tom Brady is why the flag was thrown, and everybody knows that. But in terms of the concussion protocol, look at the Dolphins situation they're in right now.
Yep.
Tua's out. Teddy Bridgewater went out with a concussion during the game. And now they're down to their third-string quarterback, Skylar Thompson, and the Jets absolutely massacred the Dolphins on Sunday with Skylar Thompson as your quarterback. Now you have a 4-1 Minnesota team coming to Miami next weekend where they may not have Tua or Teddy Bridgewater. You could go from a 3-0 football team to 3-3 real quick just because you screwed up the concussion protocol rule with Tua, and now you kind of put yourself in a difficult position.
Yeah, because they ruled him out of that game yesterday, the Bridgewater, before they ever evaluated him or anything. Which I understand. The league's they're heightened right now because of what happened to Tua. But then, if you look, it seems like there's been a lot more concussions early in this season than usual. Naeem Hines got up walking like Tua did Thursday night, third play of the game. He got hit and he tried to stand up and couldn't get up.
Yeah, the thing with the Dolphins is, even if Teddy Bridgewater was not concussed, even if he did pass the concussion testing that they put in, they are under such a big microscope right now that you knew regardless that Teddy Bridgewater was not coming back in.
No.
Even if he was better than what Tua was, even if he was in a better position, he was not coming back in. Otherwise, they're going to get crucified all over again, and they're not going to play that game and go through that situation again.
Yeah, because
that's why with the Viking game coming up on Sunday, I don't think Bridgewater is going to be back just because they're going to monitor him closely. I don't know the situation with Tua. I'm going to be very surprised if both of them are activated, but I'll be surprised if either one of them is the starter on Sunday against Minnesota just because that team is under so much scrutiny right now and under such a big microscope as to how they handle the concussion protocol now that they're going to make sure that their guys are 100% ready before they even put them back in.
Oh, yeah, because if they were to pass Bridgewater and put him back in that game and then he got hit again and something happened, they'd have been getting killed for it. They're already getting killed for what they did to Tua, which rightfully so, because there was no way he should have been back out there. But I don't know. It just seems like we're getting more concussions this year. And I'd heard a guy yesterday on the radio talk about it is with all these new helmets and everything, they're supposed to help like against that some. It seems like we're getting just as many or more, even with these newer helmets.
Well, here's the thing, though. Are we actually getting more concussions, or are they just being diagnosed more because of the concussion testing? I don't necessarily know if we're actually getting more than we've seen in the past. Because if you ask guys like Brett Favre and you ask guys like Peyton Manning, Brett Favre said he had over 85 concussions playing football. So I don't know if we're actually getting more than what we've seen in the past. I just think more are being diagnosed just because of the more in-depth testing and knowing what goes into play to determine a concussion now as opposed to in the past.
Yeah. No, that could very well be. It just seems to me like there's been more like just like from like this year to last year with the protocols were the same until just now they changed them in the middle of the season, which after what happened in Miami, they needed to do something because there's no way that you got doctors out there that are supposed to be non-affiliated, and if you're diagnosing stuff wrong, I mean, that makes the whole league look bad.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the hit yesterday on Bridgewater. That hit 4 or 5 years ago, he's not even coming out of the game. because it didn't even look like he hit his head that hard, and it didn't even look like he got up that loopy. So, like a hit like that 4 or 5 years ago, he's staying in the game for the next play and just going back out there. And then yesterday, not only is he coming out, but he's not coming back in. That's why I said I don't even know if Bridgewater had a full concussion. He may have been showing like concussion signs, but he may have not like had that full concussion. But because of the way protocols are now, they had no choice but to leave him out.
But that's one, and I'm all for player safety, but they're going to have to get what happened with Tom Brady yesterday. That can't be happening. You can't. I mean, that's the end of a game, could change a game, and you call roughing the passer penalty on a play that is just a routine tackle. And I'm sure there's other quarterbacks that would get that call too, but. And a lot of people say, "Well, he's 45 years old. I don't care how old he is. He chose to be out there playing, so he shouldn't get special treatment because he's 45 years old." But I also understand he's the GOAT. He's going to get some calls, but that was just terrible, especially when you're trying to clean up about the concussion stuff. But then if you go to that extreme, I mean, it turns away. It's going to start turning away some of the fans too, because you're going to get people to say, "Well, you might as well just play flag football or two-hand touch if that's going to be a penalty."
Right.
Damien said the NFL is rigged to protect Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers because they're the face of the league. If it was any other QB or player, refs wouldn't care and not call
Tom Brady, yes. Aaron Rodgers, no. They could care less what happens to Aaron Rodgers, especially after the way he's acted the last couple off seasons towards the Packers. He's not the face of the NFL. Tom Brady, I would still say is. But guys like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, those are kind of the new faces of the NFL. But the way that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson play, you really can't protect them because they're going to run just as much as they're going to pass. Patrick Mahomes gets rid of the football so quick that he barely ever gets hit, so you really can't protect him that much. And when he does run, he runs smart where he's getting out of bounds and doesn't take the hits. Yeah. But I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the face of the franchise or face of the NFL anymore. I don't think anyone would say that he is, just because of how he's acted the last couple of years and just kind of gone about his business. And then you just look at how he folds in the playoffs. He's not the face of the NFL, and I don't think he ever has been. It's been Tom Brady and Peyton Manning who were the faces of the NFL, and then it's pretty much been Tom Brady since Peyton Manning left. There hasn't been another face of the NFL along with him.
No, now you're starting to get another rivalry, kind of like you had with Peyton and Brady with Allen and Mahomes. At least could end up being like that if these two teams, these two teams can stay up at the top of the league and keep battling each other for the AFC. But yeah, I would agree. Them are your faces of the league now, or that are coming up, would be them two. Oh, Rob Scott. What's up, Rob?
What's happening?
Let's talk a little NFL. Talk about Tom Brady getting sacked there at the end of the game yesterday, and they calling that roughing the passer penalty.
That was a great call.
If you think that was a great call, you're out of your fucking mind.
It was a great call. Way to look out for the GOAT. No, all jokes aside, though. That was a horrible call, but the only way I can justify that is what happened to Tua. And the way that Tua got tackled. It was similar to the way Tom Brady got tackled. And I was watching Undisputed earlier. Shannon Sharp brings up a good point. I love his perspective because he can actually tell you from a football player's perspective. And Tom Brady knows how to tuck his head. You know what I mean? The way that they fall, the way that he feels in comparison to Tua, Tua goes all out. But I believe that's because Tua is a runner at heart. He's going to scramble with the football as opposed to Tom Brady. Once you kind of get your hands on Tom Brady, he going to go down. So I think that was really just due to the concussion protocols. And then also it's Tom Brady. I mean, come on now. We got the tuck rule because of Tom Brady. So, the referees are going to find a way to get that man called. So,
yeah, but that hit wasn't even near as hard as the Tua hit.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. And actually, I think
if you watch Brady, he got his arms kind of down too.
Yeah, and I think the tackler kind of pulled back as well. Like the momentum carried them like that, but I don't think he was intentionally trying to slam Tom Brady on his head. You know what I mean? So It was a bad call. It was a bad call. It was funny. I'm looking at Instagram, everybody going crazy. I mean, Twitter, everybody's going crazy. Like, that was a horrible call, you know. So I had the misfortune of having to work yesterday. So, you know, due to FanDuel, I kept my eyes on all the games. I'm trying to get my ticket to hit. You know, damn you, Chris Godwin. Damn you.
You just got hooked onto that FanDuel. What? This is your second
I'm
week?
hooked. I'm hooked. I got my bet ready for tonight. I'm hooked. And when the NBA season starts, you know, like I tell people, football is my first love because that's the first sport, you know, I was introduced to and I fell in love with it. But basketball is my forever love. I just love the NBA, baby.
Is it next week?
Yeah. I'm ready too. It's a couple teams I got my eyes on, but you know, I'm still happy that we got football going on right now too. We saw some great games. Everybody keeps saying, "How about them Cowboys?" I'm saying, "How about them Giants?" The Giants are doing their thing right now. Who would have thought that? We kept talking about the AFC West, right? Who would have thought that the NFC East would be probably the most interesting division in football?
And who's willing to bet that the Bears are kicking themselves in the foot for not bringing in Brian Dable?
For bringing in Dable, I'm telling you, man. Hey, did you see the way he was pumped up after they won him? I said, now that's a coach I'm playing for. I'm ready to run through a wall for him because he was ready. I like Brian Daboll. You guys got me. I'm becoming a fan of this guy. He just has that it factor. You know what I mean? People like him, and he's a fiery coach. So, the Bears, they got to be kicking themselves in the ass.
I mean, they also got to be kicking themselves in the ass too for not guarding Justin Jefferson.
The best receiver in football right now, some would say.
They didn't even guard him. They played zone coverage on the whole first half and just gave him 10 yards of cushion.
Oh, God. I don't know. And I thought Eberflus, isn't he supposed to be a defensive guy?
Yep. And you let Kirk Cousins start 17 of 17 passing in the first half playing zone coverage on Jefferson.
And you know what? The play of the game to me was when dude missed the tackle and came back and stripped the ball for the
Cameron.
I said, you gotta be kidding me, yo.
Cameron. So I didn't see that.
Dude, he missed the bro got past, you know, got a little shifty, broke the tackle. He got up off the ground and came and knocked the ball out of his hand. I said, you gotta be kidding me, bro. The Bears, man. Oh my God. So hard to be a Chicago fan sometimes. That's what.
The Vikings beat them pretty good.
No, the Bears came back and got the lead, and they did Chicago things. They came and got the lead, dude. I'm over there. I'm cheering. We turned on the game. You got shout out to Streamies. If you know. But watching the game at work, we all on our phones, on our laptops, and we like, yeah. And then we like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm telling you, if you watch a Bears game, you go through a number of emotions.
Oh, believe me, I know that. Try watching the Colts game this season.
Oh man, that snooze fest on Thursday.
Oh man.
I saw somebody on Instagram, this dude named Bubba, he be calling everybody trash. He said, I swear, if you was able to survive that, Amazon Prime should pay you for watching that game.
They're more welcome to send me a check because I watched that whole damn game.
I watched the whole game too. Like, no, you know what? I watched it up until. No, I watched the whole game because I remember the overtime. I was looking like, because I forgot they went into overtime. I just thought about it. Yeah, they went into overtime, and then he went for it. I said, of all the times you just kick the field goal, bro, ain't nobody scored out here. Why would you go for that?
Yeah.
But I'm not letting Russell Wilson off the line. Like, Nathaniel Hackett is a horrible coach, but Russell Wilson is not playing good, man. He is not playing good at all. Like, all that let's ride. No, they probably telling him right now, no, you go ahead and drive. Like drive away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've never seen fans leave the stands. Like in overtime.
Yeah, when the game's getting ready to go to overtime.
That's when you know you fed up. You like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and go to the crib. I was asleep anyway. Because it was quiet in there.
Yeah, I don't want extra football. We'll leave.
You know, hey, but your coach though, they finding a way. Hey, that was a big win for them though, because you have no Jonathan Taylor. You know, Matt Ryan's not playing the best. You know, and
you lost your other running back 3 plays in the game.
Oh, the Hines took a nasty. Oh my God! I said, what is up with this concussion bug going around?
Yeah, he tried to stand up and he started walking like Tua was. I told Dad, so well, he's done.
Yeah, it was bad. But at least the coaching staff and the medical staff had the wherewithal to understand that this dude can't walk. Maybe he shouldn't play. We're not gonna clear him to go back into the game. You know.
Yeah, like in the you brought up the Giants. I watched the first half of that game. Then the second half I was listening to on the radio.
Oh, I saw that.
I had a wrestling show, so I was listening to it on the radio while I was driving.
I know what Damien's talking about. So they got a picture of this dude, like a video, I'm sorry, and he's like his pants is like halfway down his ass. You can see his ass. And he's like getting rubbed on, and the way that the camera is angled, you like, whoa, that was not a good look for PR. They should have maybe did that inside the tent. Like, I get it, players are hurt. Maybe we should be grown about it, but yeah, it wasn't a good look. You know, and bro just up like this, like, yeah. I'm like, oh wow. I know what he's talking about. I just saw that this morning. I said, whoa, who let this one get out? You know, maybe, you know.
Hey, that's allowed overseas, Rob. Don't you get it? Look at all the nude beaches overseas. That's nothing out of the ordinary.
Hey, I was just watching Game of Thrones this morning. You know, what a great episode. You're right about that.
Rex, I love that the Denver Donkeys suck.
Hey, you said, they just fired who? What's his name? Rule?
Matt Rule.
Yeah.
I don't think that's his fault though.
I do. I do. The guy's 11-27 as a head coach.
Baker sucks.
This was before Baker Mayfield though, Rob. He's 11-27.
Sam Darnold. Like, I mean, come on, a man didn't have no. Come on, man.
You can only blame the quarterback for so much.
I get you, but hey, I dare anybody to go out there and have a winning record with quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield. And
Baker Mayfield got Cleveland into the playoffs
one time. Y'all gotta let that go.
And he had Cleveland.
The Bears made it to the Super Bowl one time in 2006. Ain't been back since. You don't hear me say, well, the Bears went back to the Super Bowl. The Bears did make the Super Bowl. Come on, man.
Hey, Rob, who's
saying, Baker Mayfield has at least had more success in Cleveland than he's had in Carolina. He at least had Cleveland playoff contenders for 4 straight years.
Dude, Cleveland is still winning right now, and they got
2-3. They're 2-3.
Hey, it don't matter. They winning games.
They have one more win than Carolina. They are 2-3, and Carolina is 1-4.
You heard the Usos, you the twos, and we the one.
Hell, they would have won that game yesterday if the field goal kicker could have kicked the field goal after the damn Chargers coach basically hand gifted them the game.
What's wrong with the Chargers?
Injured, and injured.
Yeah.
And Brandon Staley.
Yeah, Brandon Staley too.
Keenan Allen didn't even play yesterday, did he?
Who?
No.
Keenan Allen.
He played very limited. I don't even think he saw like 40 snaps.
Yeah, they beat up because then they lost to Joey Bosa, right?
Bosa's out for a while.
Yeah.
And the other Bosa got hurt yesterday too, didn't he?
Who, Nick Bosa?
Yeah, I think Nick got hurt yesterday as well.
That'll be a blow to San Fran. That'll be a blow to San Fran. I caught the a little bit of the Ravens game too. Lamont Jackson, man, once again making magic happen in the end. Once again, win it. Hey, Chris, we got to get our shirt. Pay that man. We got to get our shirts, man.
I'll tell you what, though, him and Baker were both off. Were off during that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he made some plays there at the end. But to me, though, that was another one where the Cincinnati Bengals messed up, not taking you. When you have a chance to get points, get points.
Yeah.
You pass up that 3, and then it worked out where you'd have been up by 4, and it took a touchdown to beat you instead of just a field goal.
Yeah, Cincinnati is starting to look
especially
like,
when you know the Ravens have the best field goal kicker in the game.
Yeah.
Dude's basically automatic most
Yeah.
night. I mean, 90%.
He's going into the Hall of Fame as a kicker. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now, he's going into the Hall of Fame as a kicker. But hey, Cowboys, Cooper Rush. Hey, Lamont missed some throws. I get you, but every quarterback is not gonna have a great game. But when you able to, hey, we saw Tom Brady only score 14 points in the Super Bowl, and yet he wins these game-winning drives because the field goal kicker is a part of your team. My job is to set that field goal kicker up for success. Now, it's not my fault I happen to have the best kicker in the game, but I set them up for success. So if we gonna give other quarterbacks this credit of these game-winning drives when they haven't had a great game all game, look at the praise Cooper Rush is getting. Can you really sit there in your heart of hearts and say the Cowboys are winning because of Cooper Rush? No.
Because that defense.
No, they winning because of but Cooper Rush does things to not throw away the game, and he's made game-winning drives when he needed to. So if we're going to give other quarterbacks this credit, why is Lamont Jackson held to such a different standard? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to pick 10 quarterbacks that's better than Lamont Jackson right now in the NFL. And yet all he asking for is, I want to be compensated like these other quarterbacks. Look at the struggle Aaron Rodgers had yesterday. And I don't want to hear the fact that he don't have any receivers, because guess what? Lamar Jackson didn't have no receivers. All his receivers, running backs got injured, receivers got injured. That dude was out there by himself last year until he finally went down with an injury. And people forget that the Ravens had a winning record before he went down. Lamar Jackson wins. He's a young MVP. He's taking his team to playoff. I just really hate that he's compared to, he's on such a different pedestal from other quarterbacks, where other quarterbacks are allowed to make mistakes, but he's not. Look at the money Russell Wilson just got, and look how he's playing. Look how he's playing. Look how Russell Wilson is playing. Are you telling me Russell Wilson is better than Lamar Jackson?
Russell Wilson ain't better than a lot of quarterbacks in the league right now, the way he's playing.
You know, and they always say, what? The best ability is availability. Just say what you want about Lamar Jackson, but he ain't out here getting caught up in no massage scandals. He's there for his team. So why shouldn't he get paid?
What? Well, actually, let's look at this real quick, and then I'll ask you that question. But he said, Rob, think before you answer, is NFL protecting Brady? Yeah, they were protecting Brady.
Yeah, they protected Tom Brady. And Tom is the GOAT. I love Tom Brady.
I knew this question was coming.
Oh, yes. Hey, and I'm sorry, y'all. I wanted to come on the watch along, dude. By the time I got back to the house, I was wasted. And I was still drinking. But I did show some support. I think I shared the video and I commented a couple times. So you know what I'm saying. But I got to catch y'all. Like I said, when the weekends, if I'm not relaxing, I'm out catching up on fun I've missed because I had to work all week. So
I tell you what, the way they done that, it was awesome.
It was perfect. Perfect. I think I've watched it like 5 times already. And he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it was, you can tell, first of all, shout out to Triple H. Shout out to Triple H, because I think he is making wrestling better. You can tell from the reaction he got when he was on SmackDown's premiere. Fans, there's one time I've seen fans cheer like that for Triple H, and that's when he made his return in Madison Square Garden after being off on that injury and announcing his entry in the Royal Rumble. When he told her, let me remind you just who the hell I am. So shout out to Triple H, and then shout out to Bray Wyatt. His creativity, the way that he showed you every aspect of his character in WWE throughout the audience. You saw the pig come up. You saw, the buzzard. You saw Sister Abigail. You saw the Fiend. You saw the Burnt Fiend. It was beautiful, and to see him come out with this Via Vendetta type mask was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love to see the joy that he had on his face. Like Bray Wyatt couldn't hide it. He smiled. Like when he saw the pop that was such a loud pop, wasn't it, Gonzo?
Oh yeah.
My God.
And it was a good it was a good show. The whole show was pretty good.
It was. Great product. I told you, that Bianca and Bailey match was beautiful. The KOD on the ladder with the ladder on the lap, that was nice. Like it was a great show, but really it was good to see Bray Wyatt,
Edge and Balor. I thought that was awesome too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dad. We'll take Lamar Jackson if Baltimore don't want him.
Hell, the Bears will, and I like Justin Fields, but hey, I'll take a Lamar Jackson right now.
Maybe it says Lamar had Hollywood, Watkins, and Duvernay, and Le'Veon Bell. Why you mean didn't have weapons? Well, out of them people, you remembered you just mentioned who's the number one receiver in that group?
I don't know because I don't think Hollywood's the number one receiver where he's at now. Is he?
No.
Oh, right.
Le'Veon Bell's boxing,
knocking out Adrian Peterson. Hey, did he really say Le'Veon Bell? Le'Veon Bell ain't been good since the Steelers, bro.
Hey, get this one. And he said he had Des Bryant too.
Damien, I question you sometimes. I question you. You're a good kid, but sometimes
I knew a lot of people didn't like that about Rousey getting the belt.
You know what though? I would have preferred to see Liv get the belt keep the belt because I don't think she got the respect that she deserved as a champion. I just don't think
they'll put it back on
her. But if you're gonna stick with Ronda Rousey being the heel, I'm all for it. I like when she yelled in the crowd, "I didn't do this for you. This is not for you. This is not for y'all. This was for me." And like I dig that. Like, yeah. Be the badass that you are. And I hope that they do that with Logan Paul. Like, fans don't like Logan Paul, so make him an asshole. Give fans the asshole that they asking for.
Did you watch SmackDown Friday night?
I did.
Did you see the promo when they had Logan Paul and the bloodline all out there? Man, that had me rolling. Sami Zayn
is gold.
Is the man.
He's gold. He's gold. You know what? And just even from the inch, when they doing their entries and he like jamming out, and I freaking love Sami Zayn, dude. I think it was a great addition to the bloodline. It just brought you a little bit more freshness to the group. I love the dynamic of how he interacts with each of them because it's a different interaction. Like Solo, you can tell kind of genuinely likes the guy. And Jimmy is kind of warmed up to him. Jay is like he not feeling him. And Roman is like, as long as you do what I tell you to do and stay out my way, you good, How do you feel about him telling Jimmy? He told Jay, you're responsible for him now. He told Zammy that. Oh, they just fired their defensive coordinator too? Oh. The Panthers are making moves right now. Oh my God, it is going up on a Tuesday.
Damien said, I still don't get why Bianca won and not Bailey. Because Bianca's hot.
Yeah, she's a great champion. AP, do you feel me? I love Damien. He's a good kid, but that guy, he said some questionable things. You say Jimmy G is 35-15 in his first 50 games, 99% passer rating, second best in hit. Jimmy G, tell him put some respect on his name. Hey, you know what I've said now? Cooper Rush is the Jimmy G of the Cowboys.
Is that a bad thing?
It's not. I think like the Cowboys play better with Cooper. Like I believe the Cowboys trust Cooper Rush.
I said earlier in the show that I compare the Cooper Rush situation to when Case Keenum took over for Sam Bradford.
Yeah,
Sam Bradford was good enough to come back in 3 weeks, but when Case Keenum's going 12-3 as a starter, you can't bench him.
you can't.
And I think Kellen Moore calls a smarter game plan too, because he sticks to the run more. He don't try to do.
I don't think he
try to
calls
do
the game any. I don't think he calls the game any differently. I just think that when Dak Prescott is in there, Dak Prescott has more freedom to audible some of the calls that
That
Kellen
might
Moore
be
puts
why.
in. But I don't think Kellen Moore calls the game any differently. I just think Cooper Rush understands what he is, and if a certain play is called, he's going to stick to the play.
Well, maybe that's what it is. When Prescott's in there, to me, they try to throw the ball way too much, and maybe it is Prescott audible in the throws. But
You know
there's
what?
times like
Dustin just said it perfectly. Cooper Rush understands who he is. And I think that's a lot of problems that you see in sports of guys trying to do too much or jump out of their element. Cooper Rush say, no, I'm not Patrick Mahomes. I'm not Aaron Rodgers. I'm not Lamont Jackson. I'm Cooper Rush. I'm going to do what I do, manage the game, and not throw it away, and understand that I have a decent run game and I have a great defense. I'm not gonna have to put them in a bailout situation, you know. And he's been great for the Cowboys for doing that. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. He understands who he is. He knows who he is as a quarterback, and sometimes that makes him deadlier.
And that's part of Dak's problem is I think Dak tries to do too much.
Yeah, exactly. I think Dak wants to show that he's athletic, and then sometimes he wants to show that he can kill you with his arm, where he misses simple plays. Like right now, I think Russell Wilson is kind of doing that. Like Russell Wilson will miss receive. I don't know what he's looking at, but he's not scanning the field like he normally has in the past. So
Hamler was wide open in that last play of that game because
yeah, you saw the way he threw his helmet down. He was.
I mean, if you look at what Cooper Rush did in college, though, the guy threw for almost 13,000 yards and had 90 touchdowns and 55 interceptions. So he's shown that he can throw it, but when you have 55 interceptions to 90 touchdowns, it kind of shows that you have that gunslinger mindset too, which is why I think Rush kind of got to the NFL now, and he's really kind of, I think, toned it down a little bit, where he knows that he's got the arm to do it, but if he doesn't have to use it, why use it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think Zeke.
I think the only thing Zeke really does better than Pollard is pass protect.
Yeah,
at this point,
that's the reason they don't start Pollard. For that reason alone, it's the pass protection. Because Zeke is a strong dude, you know. But as far as running back ability goes, like Zeke is not that guy anymore.
Why do you guys think that the scoring's down in the NFL so much? You have all the rules to help the offenses, but it seems like this year we're getting a lot more games where teams aren't even getting 20 points a game. Is it because the defenses are dropping back in more of the too deep safety look and just playing the zone, trying to keep everything in front of them, or you think it's a different reason?
I think there's multiple reasons. I think one of them is what you just said, that defenses nowadays are doing the bend but don't break mentality, where they don't care if they're going to give up 400 yards a game. They're just going to keep you at the end zone. So, like, you see a lot of teams, like I'll use the Vikings as an example because, Rob, you saw this game yesterday. When the Vikings get up 21-3, they go into this kind of prevent style defense where they'll give up the yards they're going to give up. Once you kind of get into the red zone, then Minnesota gets back into their like standard 3-4 pressure defense where they'll give up field goals more than touchdowns. And a lot of teams you see doing that now where they might give up 400 yards a game, but as soon as you get into their 30-yard line, then you're going to have to work for the touchdown because then they'll kind of get back to their standard defensive pressure. But the other thing is you have coaches like Brandon Staley, where these teams are starting to play the analytical side of things and they're going for it on fourth down more as opposed to kicking field goals, or they're going for 2 instead of kicking the extra point just because the extra point is now 32 yards.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think these defensive coordinators and even, you know, some of the top defenders in the league, they're starting to adapt to the rules. So they understand what they can and can't do. You know, it's kind of similar to, I was just watching the Redeem team this past weekend. Great movie, by the way. Great documentary. Teared up when I saw Kobe. But watching the Redeem team and listening to the players saying, hey, Coach K had to break them down to understand basketball in a different way. You guys are used to playing in America. You're not used to playing Olympic basketball in which you can hit the ball when it's on top of the cylinder. That's not considered goaltending, and the ball is heavier, and there's a lot more motion, pick and roll, high pick and roll, type of offense, where they keep everything moving. And I think that's what defenders are doing now in the NFL. They're like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that, but I can do this, I can do that. And you know what? I think right now, if you don't have top receivers on your team, you're not really getting much. You can look at the bad offensive play in the league, and I think you are starting to rely a little bit more on the running game now. I think a lot of teams are, you got these power backs, and they starting to put the ball in their hands. So it's a lot of reasons why they're not real high scoring games like that, and not to mention the movement around. I think everybody is kind of spread evenly around this year.
I think teams are starting to lean toward the running game more because the defenses are taking away that deep ball. So now you got
defenses have gone more to that shell coverage like they did against Kansas City when they had Tyreek Hill, where now it's you play the single high safety or the two safeties back, and you're just giving teams everything they want over the middle, but you're not going to give up the home run ball over the top.
We're going to try to make you have a 15, 16-play drive all the way down the field to get points. And a lot of times a penalty, the team gets a penalty, then that messes the drive up. They're punting. But yeah, you're seeing that with a lot of teams this year. Scoring's down compared to what it has been. You're seeing a lot more teams playing, like Dustin said, that bend don't break. Even the Dolphins, when they were on their win streak, they were giving up 400 yards a game, but they weren't giving up no points in the red zone.
Yeah. You got to keep everything in front of you, and then once we get to the red zone, load it up.
Anthony Price says it's too early to jump on the hype train for Geno Smith.
Did they lose yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Seahawks lost yesterday. But you know what, though? I won't say I'm jumping on the hype train of Geno Smith, but I'm happy for him. It's always good when you see a quarterback who everybody kind of thought was, probably just going to be relegated to bench duty and cheerleader duty, and he's able to actually get another chance. Most people don't get second or third chances in the NFL, so if you're lucky enough to get those chances, you got to take advantage of it. And I think Geno's been playing. Do I see him as a continued starter in this league? No, I do not. But, for what he's doing right now, you have to commend the man. You have to commend him. We're going to give you your flowers, Geno. He's
putting up better numbers than Russell Wilson is right now.
And Baker, but I'm not saying that.
Well, the thing with Geno Smith is if he was with a different team, I think he would get comeback player of the year.
Really?
Because Seattle, I don't think is going to make the playoffs. But if you look at the numbers that Geno Smith has put up, and if you compare him, not necessarily to like Lamont Jackson or to like Josh Allen, but if you compare him to a lot of the quarterbacks in this league, he's right up there. And if not, he has better numbers than Aaron Rodgers. He has better numbers than a lot of quarterbacks in this league. It's just the fact that he plays with Seattle that he's not going to get that recognition. But this is the Geno Smith that everyone expected when he was drafted by the Jets. But of course, the Jets are where quarterbacks go to die. So, you spend your first 4 years in the Jets and you suck. You don't get another job for 4 years until an opportunity opens up. He is going to earn an extension with Seattle after this year, or he's going to earn a starting job with somebody else after this year.
Oh. I mean, he had a great game yesterday, though. 16-25, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, those ain't no just run-of-the-mill numbers. I mean, so Geno is taking full advantage of his opportunity. And Dustin, if you're right, stat guy, and he get that extension, man, more power to him.
Because this is what he's done so far through 5 games. He's got 1,300 yards passing, which comes out to be roughly 265 yards per game on average. He's got 9 touchdowns and 2 picks. That's right up there with Aaron Rodgers, who has 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's right up there with Tom Brady. That's right up there with a lot of quarterbacks in this league. And to make things even better, the guy has a 113 quarterback rating, which is second behind Josh Allen. and he leads the NFL with a 75% completion percentage.
No.
So the guy's playing at like close to MVP caliber football right now, but the fact is that he's in Seattle. He's not going to get the recognition he deserves, and like I said, he deserves comeback player of the year awards, but if Seattle doesn't make the playoffs, he's not going to get it.
Yeah. Do you think what percentage would you give Seattle on making the playoffs?
I give them a 40% chance to win the division just because everybody in that division is 3-2 or 2-3.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in that position. But if they don't win the division, I give them less than 10% because you have Eagles at 5-0, Dallas at 4-1, Giants at 4-1. You have to think that 2 teams from that division are going to make the playoffs, minimum. You have the Packers and Vikings. You have to think that both of them are going to get in. And then you have the NFC South. Buccaneers are probably going to be the only team that comes out of that. So right now, that's 6 of the 7 teams accounted for.
Yeah.
So that final wild card spot, you would think that the Rams are going to have a shot to get at it, even though they haven't played very well. Cardinals are going to have a shot to get at it, even though they haven't played very well. You have to think that
maybe a third team out of the East.
Well, it's 7 teams now in the
it's 7 teams. But if you get 2 out of the East, 2 out of the North, that's 4. Yeah. Then you have the Bucs as 5, and then the winner of the NFC West is 6. So you have 4 teams that are going to battle for that 7th spot. I think Seattle can battle for it.
Yeah.
I just think at some point the Rams are going to turn it around where they're going to get into the playoff mix.
Yeah. Well, it don't get easy for Seattle. I tell you that. They got to play the Cardinals next week. Then they play the Chargers right after that. Then they play the Giants, who, like right now, the Giants are playing great football. And then they have the Cardinals again. And then go right to the Buccaneers. So their next 5 games are going to be tough.
Yes, they are going to be tough, but the guy's thrown for over 1,000 yards his last 3 games.
Ooh, talk to him.
He had 325 against Atlanta, 320 against Detroit, and 280 against the Saints. And the Saints have a good defense, and he threw for 280 with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. Even against Denver's defense, he had 2 touchdowns and 0 picks.
Hey, Geno been balling.
The only team that he really struggled with was the 49ers, which 49ers defense gives everybody problems anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's the 49ers, man. I mean, that defense. I mean, you saw the way was that Fred Warner hit that fan?
Yeah. Now that fan trying to press charges. Like you run out the field during the game and you get hit and you want to try to press charges. Come on.
Oh, God.
Even going back to when Geno Smith was a rookie, he had 12 touchdowns and 21 picks and threw for 3,000 yards that year. He's already halfway to what he did in terms of yardage in 5 games, and he's only 3 touchdowns away from his career high.
Do you think it's just because he's away from the Jets and in just a better situation in Seattle, even though Seattle...
I mean, he's away from the Jets. That helps, but everyone thought that Drew Lock was going to come into Seattle and be the starting quarterback. The fact that he beat Drew Lock, who was a first-round pick, the fact that he is making Drew Lock look non-existent shows you that Geno Smith always had the talent to be a good quarterback. It's the fact that when he was with the Jets, he looked like crap his first 2 years and then did nothing. Then he went to the Giants and had to sit behind Daniel Jones. Then he went to the Chargers and had to sit behind Phillip Rivers. So it's not like he's had too many opportunities to do anything. He's been with Seattle now the last 3 years. But when Russell Wilson's there, you're not going to get that opportunity unless Wilson gets hurt. So this is really the first opportunity he's had since his second year in the NFL.
Yeah.
Damien said Geno is a good QB. His only problem is what he does off the field.
Does it matter what he does off the field?
He ain't done. I mean, he ain't.
Does he get in trouble with what he does off the field?
Yeah.
I don't care what you do off the field as long as you're not hurting my team and as long as you're not abusing the NFL policy. I don't care what you do off the field.
I don't either. Can we see 3 teams in the NFCs make the playoffs? It could be possible.
I think 2. As good as the Giants have played so far, I think they are going to fade. I'm not saying they're going to fade terribly. I think the Giants can still win 7 or 8 games, but I don't think they're going to be able to compete with Dallas or the Eagles by the end of the year, and I don't think they're going to be able to. I don't think they're going to get to 10 wins, and I think to get in the playoffs, you're going to need 10 wins. but I think the Giants are going to be there until that final month of the season. I just don't think they're going to get that 10th win to get into the playoffs. Which it's not going to say they're going to have a bad season, because if they go 8-9 or 9-8, that's a win for Brian Daboll in his first year, and he's probably going to get Coach of the Year because of it.
Yeah, because they haven't won more than 3 or 4 games last.
5 wins is the most they've had since 2015, and that was back in 2017. So, I mean, right now, 1 more win puts them at that. So, Brian Daboll's in position to get Coach of the Year, even if they don't make the playoffs.
And Damian, I hate to tell you this, it's a lot of people playing better than Justin.
Justin Fields is ranked third. Justin Fields is ranked. Rob, I know you're gonna hate when I say this because you hate the guy anyways. Justin Fields is playing worse than Baker Mayfield, and that's hard to believe.
He is.
Justin Fields is ranked 31 out of 32 quarterbacks.
But to Justin Fields' defense, he has nothing.
Okay,
he has nothing.
I give you that.
He don't have an offensive line, and his best receiver is a third receiver.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But the one thing that I cannot give Justin Fields, he leads the NFL in passes off target. 39.4% of his passes are off target. I don't care if you don't have weapons. If you can't put the ball on target, you're not going to give your receivers a chance to make a play. You lead the NFL in passes off target, that's on you. That's not on the coaches. Do you know who the next closest person is?
Who is it?
Next closest quarterback for passes off target is Matt Ryan at 26%. He's clear almost 14% higher than Matt Ryan in terms of passes off target.
Quarterbacks in the league.
But yes, Justin Fields doesn't have a lot to work with, so I understand that he's going to struggle until they give him more weapons. But until he can consistently put the ball on target, he's not going to do himself any favors.
But to his defense, even with that, it's kind of hard to be accurate when you're running for your life.
Not really, because that catch that Darnell Mooney made yesterday, that's considered an off-target throw.
Yeah,
because it wasn't by the receiver's vicinity. The receiver just made the play to go get it. But if you look at the rest of the passes he made during that game, a lot of those were on target. He actually had a good game yesterday, but his first 4 weeks, he threw what? I think they said 43 of his 80 passes that he threw the first 4 games are off target.
Yeah,
that's not good.
I've seen some. I can recall some passes. I'm like, what the hell was he throwing? Who the hell was he throwing?
That's not the coaching. That's on Fields, and that's kind of what Fields has to harness if he wants to be the quarterback that everyone thinks he can be.
Yeah, I still got faith in him. And now the Bears, I believe,
playing better than Fields.
Carson Wentz is playing better than Fields.
I believe the Bears are going to have like $100 million to play with next season.
How can Fields? Okay, this comment right here, Damian. How can Fields get passes when nobody can get open? It's called a screen pass. It's called a check down. Take the 5-yard check down. Move the chains. Don't go for the home run ball every single time. Not everybody on every single play is covered start to finish. Take the check down to David Montgomery. Take the check down to Cole Kmet or Ryan Griffith. Just get the yards the defense gives you.
The GOAT tight end, Cole Kmet, baby.
That's how you get your completion percentage up. You take what the defense gives you. If you don't have anything downfield with your receivers, Tom Brady checks it down. Aaron Rodgers checks it down. All the good quarterbacks in the NFL will check it down if they don't have anything downfield. That's what Fields needs to do. Take what the defense gives you and just check it down.
Honestly, that's one thing that hurt Aaron Rodgers and the Packers yesterday is he quit checking it down
exactly.
in the second half. He quit checking it down and kept trying to go for that deep ball over in the second half.
And Rob, what helped the Bears get back in the game against Minnesota?
He started checking down.
Exactly, because Minnesota was playing deep coverage to take that big play away from Darnell Mooney. So what did Fields do? He started checking down, and 6-yard gains turned into 15, 16-yard gains. That's what Fields needs to do to be successful is take what the defense gives him and just check it down to whoever the defense is leaving uncovered. Montgomery turned a 3-yard pass into a 40-yard gain because the defense didn't cover him on a check down.
Montgomery different. I rock with Dave. That's my boy. That's I think with the Bears at this point, you kind of just got to find something positive to try to say about them. And David Montgomery is that little piece of positivity pie for me.
I would say Eddie Jackson, too, because Eddie Jackson's finally gone back to playing at a Pro Bowl level.
Yeah, but that defense still do some questionable-ish.
It is, but it isn't because they don't got Jalen. You bring Jalen Johnson back, now you have Jalen Johnson guarding Justin Jefferson yesterday as opposed to nobody. And then Kyler Gordon can go down to Adam Thielen. Kindle Vildor can go down to KJ Osborne.
Ooh. They just let the Vikings kill them yesterday. And that just blew me. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just done with the Bears right now. I'm done with the Bears.
Bright spot for the Colts has been, I think that rookie receiver Pierce they got is going to end up being pretty good. He's last couple games he stepped up, but other than that, we just
the bright spots for the Colts is they're still only one game out of the division.
Yeah, but that's probably going to end after the next 2 weeks. We play Jacksonville again and then Tennessee again. So we'll probably
as opposed to the Bears right now are 3 games behind Minnesota.
I told y'all Minnesota's going to win that division.
I've said that since day 1 too. After they got rid of Mike Zimmer.
No, you did.
Because I even said last year they were an 8-9 football team last year.
Yeah.
But they were plus 50 or plus 60 in terms of like the point differential. So they were the best 8-9 football team out there. They had to lead in 15 of the 17 games they played last year and had to lead 13 times in the fourth quarter, and yet they go 5-8 in those games. That team had the talent to be good last year, and it didn't pan out because Mike Zimmer was, we'll just keep it PG, a moron, and forgot how to coach a team.
And the game that the Vikings lost this year, they played terrible. I'm not
You
saying
look at the-
saying the Eagles aren't good, but they played terrible.
Well, you look at all the games that Minnesota's had this year. Take away the Packer game in Week 1 where they just completely destroyed Green Bay. All the games that Minnesota has played the last 3 weeks have been one-score games that have basically gone down to the final 2-3 minutes of the game. Those are all games that Minnesota lost last year with Mike Zimmer because Mike Zimmer had no idea what to do with the final 3 minutes of the game. Those are games that Minnesota's winning now because Kevin O'Connell is putting Kirk Cousins in a position to do well. He has 3 game-winning drives the last 3 weeks. And everyone wants to still crap on Kirk Cousins for being a terrible quarterback. The guy's got 3 consecutive game-winning drives.
Did you see what Justin Jefferson did yesterday?
Yeah, he had a 23-yard pass, and it looked like a quarterback throwing the ball.
12 receptions for 154 yards. God damn.
Is Josh Allen the front runner for
God
MVP?
No. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts.
No,
I go Jalen Hurts, Lamont Jackson, Josh Allen.
I put Josh Allen 1 just because he's been he's finished second in the MVP the last 2 years.
Yeah, I get you. I'm talking about this year. If you ask me this year, Jalen Hurts.
Who does the MVP go to 90% of the time?
The quarterback.
Okay, and who does it go to with that though? Typically the team that has the best record.
Yeah.
And that's where Buffalo is right now over Baltimore.
I get, but so
that's why I'm going to give it to Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers should not have gotten the MVP last year.
Oh, I get you, but you saying Buffalo 4-1, the Eagles are undefeated.
They're undefeated for now, but I don't think
5-0.
Yeah, they're 5-0, but by the end of the season, Josh Allen's going to have better numbers than Jalen Hurts. He's going to have more passing yards. He's going to have more passing yards. He's going to have more passing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts might get him in the rushing side of things, but Josh Allen, I think, is going to have more total touchdowns than Jalen Hurts by the end of the year.
Yeah, but
I still think Buffalo is a deeper team.
And we talking right now, if the season was ending today, when you ask who's the front runner for MVP, Jalen Hurts has his team undefeated. He's the second leading rusher on his team. Jalen Hurts right now is playing championship football.
Oh, he is.
Not to mention the leadership intangible. Did you see the post game of last week?
Yeah.
That's how I want my quarterback to talk to my team. That's how you talk to your team.
The first half that he put up against Pittsburgh, I think, is what put Josh Allen ahead.
I think
because he threw for 348 yards against a Mike Tomlin defense in one half.
Mike Tomlin defense with Pittsburgh ain't no nothing this year. Ain't nobody scared of Pittsburgh.
Their defense has always been good in Pittsburgh, and it's always going to be good.
Their defense ain't been nothing since they lost T.J. Watt.
I get that, but it's still a Mike Tomlin defense, and that's the credit that Josh Allen's going to get.
Man, I respect Josh Allen. Not a bad choice. He's not a bad choice. He's the best quarterback in the league right now. I will say that, but I just think right now Jalen Hurts has too many intangibles. And then Lamont Jackson not far behind him. He just led a game-winning drive yesterday himself.
Yeah. So if we're looking at it right now, Josh Allen has 1,800 yards passing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only 5 games into the season. The guy's almost got 2,000 yards passing.
You're a bad boy. And hey, look, we talk about Stephon Diggs. I don't think we talk about Gabe Davis enough.
So Josh Allen has 14 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has 4.
Okay.
Josh Allen has 6 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts has 6.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh Allen has 20 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts has 10. That's why I'm putting Josh Allen ahead of Jalen Hurts, just because Josh Allen has done a lot more at the quarterback position so far.
I get you. Hold on, work call. One second.
Lamar has more touchdowns than Hurts, doesn't he?
Lamar has. Let me find Lamar here. Lamar has 12 passing touchdowns compared to Jalen Hurts 4, and then he's got another 7 rushing touchdowns, so he's got 19. But even then, Josh Allen still has more touchdowns than Lamar Jackson.
No, I'm just saying I would put Lamar ahead of Hurts right now.
I would put Hurts 3. I would put Lamar 2, and obviously Josh Allen 1, just because the guy's averaging 340 yards passing a game right now. If he does that for the entire season, he's going to have 5,400 yards passing. And
now at the beginning, you go back a couple of weeks, I had it flopped. I had Lamar ahead of Allen, but now I'd have Allen ahead of Lamar.
I've had Allen the MVP. That was my MVP pick from the end of last year heading into this season. My preseason MVP pick was Josh Allen, just because of the way he played in that AFC playoff loss last year. I think that to me was kind of his coming out party as to what we could see from Josh Allen going forward. A guy that's going to give you 350 to 400 yards passing and another 70, 80 yards rushing a game.
Wait, but I saw what AP just said. Hey, let me tell you this. Lamar Jackson is the leading rusher on his team.
Yeah. And he still doesn't have as many touchdowns as Josh Allen.
Oh, no. I was just saying, because he said that wasn't a good look as far as, I guess being, hey, you got to do what you got to do to help your team win. And as long as you're not putting yourself in harmful, predicaments where you're getting injured on the field, hey, do what you do. If your team, you become an even deadlier threat because of the fear of you using your legs, by all means, brother.
That's the thing. All three of them guys that we just mentioned can all run the ball.
Josh Allen ain't no scrub. Well. Oh, yes, sir. He ain't no scrub. Yeah, and that's why I'm telling Dustin. If he wants to say Josh Allen is the front runner, I'm not knocking him for saying that, because like I just said, Josh Allen to me has proven himself. If we speaking on today's league and today's time this season, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league right now. And I dare you to tell me that he ain't.
No, he is, but that's like Jalen Hurts has got his team 5-0, but when you only have 4 passing touchdowns,
yeah, I get you.
You can't be the front runner for the MVP because you've only got 4 passing touchdowns.
I get you. Just to me, I feel like it's a little like Josh Allen has weapons. And not saying Jalen Hurts don't, but Josh Allen has tremendous weapons. He's also very accurate with the ball. So now it's like, giving a sniper of a 50 cal bullet. He gonna hit the target 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, but if Kyler Murray don't slide a half yard too soon yesterday and then get up and spike the ball to bring up 4th down, and then you miss a field goal, the Eagles might not be undefeated anymore.
Hey, but guess what? Every working piece has to go right to keep them W's coming, right? But man, what I can say though, man, this MVP. No, I'm giving Hurts the MVP because he's a baller. I don't just consider, to me, when I'm looking at MVP, I'm not just giving you that because you're a quarterback. I'm giving it to a baller. And Jalen Hurts can hurt you from different aspects of the game. He can hurt you. And when you have a quarterback like that who can hurt you like that, but also the resolve to get his team, this is still a very young quarterback. And this team is ready to run through a brick wall for Jalen Hurts. So, yes, I include intangibles when I'm thinking MVP. I include that. And not saying that the Buffalo Bills won't run the wall for Josh Allen, but I've seen Josh Allen have seasons like this, get to the playoffs and fail.
But here's a problem though. You cannot consider him failing in the playoffs last year.
No. I'm not. That has nothing to do with my decision right now. I'm just saying overall, of an overall aspect of how I look at Josh.
Because
Allen.
you know that if they would have got the ball in overtime, that Buffalo was going to either tie that game up or they were going to go for 2 and win it.
Hey, all your defense had to do was stop them.
Their defense was gassed. There was nobody stopping anybody in the fourth quarter of that game anymore. It was more like we're just going to go out here and throw because we know that nobody can stop us and we know that we're not going to stop them.
It was whoever had the ball last.
Yeah.
Or whoever won the coin toss.
That was still one of the most historic games we've ever seen in our life. Like the way that those offenses started clicking in the last, what was like 2.5 minutes of that game.
And the fact
it was amazing.
And the fact that the losing team wanted to change the fact that the winning team wanted to change the overtime rules for the losing team goes to show you what Kansas City thought about that game. They pretty much knew that if Buffalo got the ball, they were going to go into double overtime or as long as that game would have taken.
Yeah, hey, no, it was respect, and I think as a competitor, that's the type of games you wake up for. Those are the games that keep you up. Like, oh my God, this is why I love this game. Because as a fan watching the game, I personally said after that, what was that was the second round game, right? That was a divisional game.
Yeah, that was a divisional game.
After that game, I said I felt so bad for the losing team that I wanted to just make both of them play again in the AFC Championship round. Like that's how great both offenses were. We saw the coming out party of Gabe Davis. Right? Hey. Buffalo right now, everything is in the cards for Buffalo to win. Now they got to go pull it off. But I like Jalen Hurts. I like Lamont Jackson. I think Lamont Jackson gonna be the MVP of the league when it's all said and done, because I think he needs it for his case.
I think he needs it. I think he needs it, which I agree. But the only thing going against him is the only way he gets that award is if Baltimore finishes ahead of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Baltimore does not finish ahead of Buffalo. Lamar Jackson's not getting that MVP.
You got a good point.
Because that's why Aaron Rodgers got it the last 2 years, because Green Bay had the number 1 seed.
Best team in the league.
Jonathan Taylor should have gotten the MVP last year. Without any question at all, he should have got the MVP last year for what he did. But because Aaron Rodgers played on the best team, he got the MVP award. Same thing with when Rodgers got his first MVP. Tom Brady should have gotten it over him that year. But because the Packers had the number 1 seed and Tampa Bay had the number 3, Rodgers got the nod because the Packers had the number 1 seed. Like, Lamar Jackson can go out and put up better numbers than Josh Allen does before the season's over. But if Buffalo has a better seed than Baltimore in the playoffs, then that's going to give the edge to Josh Allen, which I've always disagreed with that. I've always disagreed with how people are awarded the MVP, because it goes into baseball, it goes into basketball, it goes into every sport where if you play on the best team, chances are you're getting the MVP. Even if somebody's putting up better numbers than you, but if you play on a losing team, I'll use James Harden, for example. If James Harden is averaging 34 points per game on Houston, but Houston is a 22-60 team, he's not getting the MVP. It's going to go to somebody like Giannis, or it's going to go to somebody like LeBron that is on a winning franchise. Even if that player does not deserve to have it, it's the fact that their team is in the playoffs and Harden's team is not.
Yeah, but hey, one thing we can agree on, though, Josh Allen is that dude. And I think the AFC Championship game is going to go through Buffalo. It's going to go through Buffalo. But you already know, I ain't gave up hope yet. You know who I got winning.
I don't know who you got winning, actually.
Oh, GOAT Brady, baby.
No, he ain't getting there.
I'll ride with the GOAT. I never bet against Tom Brady. And I'm telling y'all, the second half of the season, when you see Mike Evans, he going to get himself together. I think Julio Jones, he can get healthy enough for us to do some things. I think, Chris Godwin is going to start to get himself back acclimated. Y'all better watch out. If Tampa can get that offense going, because the defense right now playing.
See, that's the problem, though. Who's the head coach in Tampa now?
It is Todd Bowles.
That's That's the issue. Like, I understand that Byron Leftwich is still there.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, Bruce Arians was still kind of calling the shots last year on offense.
Yeah.
So now you go from an offensive-minded coach in Bruce Arians to a defensive-minded coach in Todd Bowles, and you can see where Tampa's strength is now. It's on the defensive side of the football as opposed to the offensive side.
Do you think that Todd Bowles has let Tom Brady control the reins too much?
Not necessarily, because Tampa Bay can't run the football to save their life right now.
No, they can't.
That's why Tom Brady's got to throw.
Playoff Lenny when you need him.
That's why Tom Brady's got to throw 55 to 60 times a game right now, because you're averaging less than 3 yards a carry running the ball. So Tom Brady has no choice but to fling it around the yard like Josh Allen, like Patrick Mahomes, because that's the only way they can move the ball. So I don't think that Todd Bowles has let Tom Brady down. It's more so I think Tom Brady got so accustomed to the Bruce Arians offense and how that offense was run that he figured once Arians left, everything was still going to be the same with Byron Leftwich when it's not.
Yeah.
It's just because Byron Leftwich is your offensive coordinator and play caller, he does things a lot differently. He doesn't – he tries to run the ball, I want to say, more than what Arians did. But when you watch their games, he doesn't pick the right times to run the ball.
Yeah. And
he's very predictable when he wants to run the ball, as opposed to when Bruce Arians was calling plays. You didn't know when the run was coming. You didn't know when a pass was coming. You were kind of out there on defense, like looking like what was coming next.
Yeah.
With Leftwich calling things, you know when they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
And you know when they're going to pass the ball. So it's if you know they're going to run the ball on first down and you know they're going to pass the ball on third down, it's really second down is kind of that down that you have to guess right. And if you can guess right, well, then you know it's coming on third down, so you can either put 6-7 guys back in coverage or you can send the house at Tom Brady at that point.
Yeah. Only thing that concerns me right now with the Buccaneers is, like, we look at yesterday's game. Tom Brady threw 52 times. That is not a recipe for a winning team, especially a quarterback that's aged. He's 45 years old. Your offensive line is trash. And I think that teams right now, they teeing off on Tom Brady. And I worry now. I know Tom Brady, he's tough. The old man is tough. He can take a hit. But how many of them hits are you going to be able to withstand? You know, especially, you know, the offensive line is just bad. It is trash bag bad.
He's not going to be able to withstand those kind of hits in January.
Oh, when it get cold outside and the bones get old and brittle. Hey, thank God he stays in Florida, right?
For now, because right now they would have the 4 seed right now.
Yeah. I didn't realize the NFC was gonna be this tough this year. The NFC is tough, and the AFC West was overrated.
I'm not going to say it's overrated.
Overrated.
I'm going to say this about the AFC West. It's not overrated. You have 2 incompetent head coaches that shouldn't be head coaches.
Yeah, because Hackett can't hack it.
Hackett and Josh McDaniels have no business being a head coach.
Yeah.
And Brandon Staley's kind of getting very close to putting himself on that list also.
Ooh.
So I'm not going to say the AFC West is overrated. I'm going to say the AFC West is a division that has 1 head coach and 3 coaches trying to make it as a head coach.
Do you think Bill Belichick will take Josh McDaniels back with open arms?
Yeah, because you look at how much that offense is struggling right now with Matt Patricia calling the plays.
Oh, yeah, that was – I don't know what was worse, Matt Patricia or Eberflus.
But here's the thing, though. That's kind of the game that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if we were going to touch on it.
Yeah.
New England looked better with Bailey Zappi yesterday than they did with Mac Jones at any point this year. So now if you're in New England, do you stick with Bailey Zappi?
I don't know.
Because they look better with Bailey Zappi than at any point with Mac Jones this year.
You know, you bring up a great point.
And Bailey Zappi broke a lot of records in college as a passer. So we know the guy can pass.
Well, you look what he did against he almost came in and beat the Packers.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he played a great second half against Green Bay.
He played a hell of a game. I said, first of all, I was like, who the hell is this kid? I never heard of a
You've
Zappi.
never heard of Bailey Zappi?
I have not.
You have never heard of Bailey Zappi?
I did. You know what? Never. Who is this guy?
He went to Western Kentucky.
That's
He
why.
led Western Kentucky to their best season in, I think, their history last year.
Okay.
The guy last year at Western Kentucky threw for 5,967 yards with 62 touchdowns and 11 picks.
Look, to the fans of Western Kentucky, I apologize, okay? I live in Chicago. I don't really pay attention to what goes on in Western Kentucky. But I will now.
And
Because,
before he went to Western Kentucky, he was at Houston Baptist. So as a college quarterback, he had 16,000 yards passing, 150 touchdowns, and 40 picks.
I'm just looking at what he did.
The guy can fling it.
He can. But you know what, though? What I love about the Patriots is that they're going to stay true to themselves. Even if you got Mac Jones, even if you got Bailey Zappi, they're still going to run that ball.
Yeah. And the fun fact about Bailey Zappi is last year in the Boca Raton Bowl when they were facing Appalachian State, he broke Joe Burrow's single-season record for touchdown passes.
Bailey Zappi. Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
He was a 4th-round pick this year.
Hey, I never heard of Tom Brady until he became Tom Brady, though. So don't feel bad, baby. You know, it's just college football is something hard to keep track of. It's too much going on in college football. It's a lot going on in college football. I find myself sometimes trying to keep up with the scores on Saturday, and I'm just like all over the place. It's like it's so much going on in college football. That's one of the reasons I don't bet on it. Too much going on. Hey, let me ask you guys this. I know we're getting down and winding down. Did you? I brought up the Redeem Team documentary earlier. Were you guys able to catch some of that, or did you get a chance to watch it?
I got about 45 minutes in, and then I was getting tired, so I had to turn it off. But I'll finish it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna watch it.
You gotta finish it, man. You gotta finish it, man. They had this one scene where they were singing "Happy Birthday" to Kobe, you know, and this was their way of, you know, kind of trying to break down his barrier, and to see, you know, him smiling, and then they show him picking up GG, and I broke down like a little baby, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. That one hit the old ticker.
I have a very hard time watching it, mainly because I'm a Duke fan. So obviously I love Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah.
But I hear all the hate and all the stinking hatred that people have towards Mike Krzyzewski.
Which I don't know why.
And it's because he's at Duke and everyone likes to hate Duke.
You know, people just hate winners.
But I'm just saying, like, when you watch the Redeem Team and you see like the amount of preparation that Mike Krzyzewski put in to coach Team USA for the 12 years that he coached it.
Yeah.
Just think about the amount of preparation he's put in at Duke to be as successful as he was in college. It's not like the guy just goes out there and recruits all this high quality talent to be the coach that he is. He does a lot of preparation to get to that point that he's gotten, and that's why like everyone hates him, because he's there for 43 years and Duke's done nothing but win since he's gotten there. I'm like, okay, how crappy was Duke before he got there? Very crappy. Nobody knew who Duke was until he got there, and the fact that he's won over 1,200 games since he got there, it doesn't come by accident.
Not at all. And that's the reason that Jerry Colangelo, he said, you know what? We need a coach that's going to understand these guys. We need a coach that's going to garnish the respect and going to get these guys well prepared. And that's when you bring in somebody like a coach.
He could have had Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, or any of these NBA coaches.
He could have put Greg Popovich in at that time.
Had any of these NBA coaches coaching Team USA, and he chose to go with Coach K.
Coach K. And Coach K, like, so after I watched the documentary, I put a Facebook post. I believe I put it on Twitter as well. And this was my 4 takeaways from that documentary. First of all, Coach K is a genius. And not just for what he does basketball-wise, for what he does in the growth and development of men. Coach K, he understood that he was coming in a situation where I am going to be coaching a bunch of superstars. He told these superstars, don't take away your ego. Your ego is what makes you you. You've never seen coaches tell somebody, no, I want you to be that cocky son of a bitch that I watch on TV. Just make it for the team and not just for yourself. So for him to, the way that he coached them and allowed ego to still exist, but mold it into a team setting was beautiful. My second takeaway from the documentary, Dwayne Wade was a monster, and we don't put enough respect on Dwayne Wade's name. It really brought back to me how great. Remember, Dwayne Wade was coming off the bench for this team.
Yeah, and you got to remember, any other draft class, Dwayne Wade goes number one.
Goes number one. If you're
five.
not in the class with LeBron, Wade goes number one.
He went number 5. He went number 5 that year.
It's oh my God, really? Yeah, because Melo was number 2, right?
Melo was 3. Chris Bosh was 4.
Who was 2?
Darko Milicic.
Darko Milicic, that's right. Oh my God. I know Detroit was kicking themselves in the ass for that.
What's the documentary on?
It's on Netflix.
Basically Team USA going from
Netflix.
Okay.
Team USA going from the best basketball team in the world to rock bottom in a amount of 2 years. And then basically having
I knew that. I didn't know like if it was on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah.
No, it's on Netflix. My third takeaway was the impact. Like, I know Kobe had an impact on LeBron. I didn't know how much. Kobe had a tremendous impact on. People say that LeBron went to Miami, and I think D Wade put the icing on the cake. Kobe set the foundation. Kobe showed LeBron, if you want to win in this league, this is what you got to do. Just the simple play of they're playing Spain, and on the first play of the game, Kobe says, I'm going to run right through this mother. And he's talking about his brother. He's talking about Paul Gasol. We see how much Paul Gasol has named his daughter middle name Gianna. That's how much love he has for Kobe. And Kobe ran through him like he didn't know who he was. And even LeBron said, when I saw that, I said, oh, yeah, we going to play and we going to win. It was the things like that. And my fourth takeaway, of course, is, damn, Kobe really gone, y'all. That man is really gone. And it's, when you talk about precision, when you talk about dedication, when you talk about discipline, these are things that are synonymous with Kobe Bean Bryant. And just, Coach K said, I needed to teach this team how to win. We called Kobe Bryant. Enough said. He was that generation of stars, that era of stars. He was Dave Michael Jordan.
And the thing that other people don't realize too about the documentary, which you have to kind of think about it, Coach K tried to recruit LeBron James. Coach K tried to recruit Carmelo Anthony and Kobe Bryant. He played against Chris Bosh when Chris Bosh was at Georgia Tech. So it's not like he was going into a situation where he didn't know who these guys were.
Yeah.
He tried to recruit a large portion of that team, or he played against a large portion of that team in college. So it was kind of like him getting a second chance at these players that he never had in college.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Coach K is just a tremendous coach. I don't know why people hate him. Coach K is the reason I am a Duke fan. That man in his basketball mind is second to none.
Yeah, he's part of the reason why I'm a Duke fan, but there's another reason.
Wait, is it Christian Laettner or Grant Hill?
It's the only school where white guys are better than the black guys at basketball.
Shout out to JJ Redick,
Singler, John Shire, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill. Let's just name all of them.
Hey man, that's the hey, white boy need love too, baby. Yes, love.
The Plumlee brothers that all went there.
Hey, but you know what though? That's just a testament to Coach K, man. Like these guys want to go play for him, and they not only become better players, they become better men for it. I think Coach K is a great man, and you can tell that it's not just business with him. He really cares for these guys, even the NBA players. He cared for that team, and he made that team a family. And that shows you the aspect of his leadership. So it was a great documentary. Gonzo, Dustin, I recommend you finish it, Dustin. Gonzo, you watch it, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, have your tissue near you, because even if you wasn't a Kobe fan, it's a tearjerker. It's a tearjerker.
I'm definitely gonna watch. I just had a busy weekend this
No,
week.
I
with
understand.
wrestling and stuff. And I ain't got a chance to yet.
Yeah. So, wait, which Illinois? You talking about like U of I, Illinois?
Illinois Fighting Illini are officially ranked 24th in the country. The first time they've been ranked since 2002.
Oh, shout out to U of I, baby. I hope they don't come try to change our name. I understand people want to be politically correct, but I personally like the Fighting Illini. And with that being said, though, happy Indigenous People Day. You know, shout out to all of our Native brothers and sisters out there. But yeah, man. Hey, guys, man, I can't wait till we get this wrestling show started, though, man. We got a lot to talk about, man. I think AEW is like going down the tube.
I do too. Hey, and I'll go ahead and let you guys know this. We just got booked, or me and Dad just got booked for our first wrestling show out of state. We're going to be going to Cincinnati, Ohio to broadcast a wrestling show here beginning of December.
Congratulations, brother. Shout out to you and your pops.
It should be a good one, but we're booked every week this month, and then now we're going to be going to Ohio in December. Be our first one out of state.
Man, I was able to catch a little bit of the one with Mick Foley, man. Hey, Foley still has that personality, dude.
Foley's a legend.
He's a legend, dude. Like, so that was like real big. Like, to me, I know it was real big to you, but I was bragging on you because I'm telling my friend, like, hey, my boy over there, you got Mick Foley at his show. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It was cool. It was cool. He's a laid back dude too. When he was standing in the ring, he was taking popcorn from the fans, eating it and shit. I was cracking up.
Hey, he is truly a living legend. Not just a hardcore legend, but a legend in general, man. Mick Foley, man. The three faces of Foley. I'm excited about Monday Night Raw tonight just because of the Fiend. Because like I said, I don't know if you guys watch Simon Miller with What Culture Wrestling, but he brought up a great point. The fact that the Fiend didn't come out there, say anything, do anything, he just stood on stage. He didn't interfere in anybody's matches. He didn't cost anybody any championship. We don't know what his true intentions is. I'm hearing there might be a program with him and Karrion Kross. I'm also hearing that.
I'm also hearing that he might be coming back in a faction.
What, like as a new Wyatt family?
Something like that. Rumors are like all the characters are going to bring all the characters to life.
And they all be a faction.
Yeah.
You should call it the Firefly Funhouse.
The way they brought him back, that was awesome.
Yeah.
How much do you guys follow like the inside part of WWE?
I follow it kind of closely.
So what are the rumors about Undertaker possibly taking over the chairman position of WWE?
Nah, I don't. I think Undertaker will have more of a role with creative because
Triple H wants to give Taker the chairman spot.
I think he wants to give him that spot just due to the fact that everybody knows the relationship that Undertaker had with Vince McMahon, and everybody know that if there's one person you can trust with Vince's company, it's Taker.
That's why I think he'll take it.
Yeah, but I think though. Allowing Undertaker and Triple H to be in dominant positions in the WWE it's gonna do nothing but make the product even better. Because you got to think about it. The Undertaker had to be relevant for 30 years, and he found a way to do it. Like Undertaker is the Snoop Dogg of WWE.
I'm not
like he's that relevant, yo.
I don't watch wrestling anymore, obviously, but. When Undertaker and Triple H had their rivalry with like Stone Cold and The Rock back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when wrestling was at its peak and that's when wrestling was at its best.
Yeah.
That's why I think you put Triple H and Undertaker basically running the show together. I think they can bring wrestling back to kind of that level. Minus obviously a couple things because you can't have those first blood matches like you used to have. You can't have like all that added violence that they had back in that time frame, but I think they can bring a lot of those matches back and kind of bring like a new attitude era into like the WWE that they have now.
And And plus, you can't forget you got Shawn Michaels that's second in charge right now that will
Right.
still be up there as well.
That's why I think
he's like
having
running
those,
the NXT brand, and I think NXT has made a comeback.
that's why I think having those three kind of in charge of WWE to run it, knowing that they were kind of part of the peak of it, seeing what it took to grow it to the level that it grew at, and then kind of seeing where it is now, I think they would be a great trio just to have run it and be like, this is what it takes to get it back to where it was, and this is what we're going to do to get it back to where it was.
And a lot of people forget Triple H had a lot to do with saving WWE back then with the Attitude Era, because a lot of that was him and Shawn talking Vince into finally letting the guys just be themselves.
And that's what all started.
Generation X was born.
And that's what started the corporate.
They're celebrating them tonight too.
And that's what started that's what started the corporate ministry and everything too back in the late 90s.
Hey, and if you guys not down with the afternoon blitz, we got 2 words for you.
Tonight's show is going to be good because it's usually always good after a pay-per-view. And then you have the Fiend stuff, or Bray Wyatt stuff, I should say. Then
and it's like a 20, it's some type of reunion, like on premiere, right? 25th, some type of premiere.
Yeah, it's the new season premiere.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be good. I usually watch Monday Night Football instead of Raw, but I'll be flipping back and forth probably tonight.
Can I tell you this though? 2 things. Did you notice that Michael Cole? I think he mentioned Sasha Banks yesterday. He hasn't mentioned her in a while. I think they mentioned her or Naomi. They mentioned one of them.
Bray Wyatt's brother, Bo Dallas, I guess is going to be might be making a return as well.
Hey, he would be technically real Wyatt family. Yep. Hey, and the second thing, I think Billy Gunn is having more fun with the Acclaim than he's ever had with DX. Scissor me, daddy. You can't say that as a grown man.
Oh, well.
But when I tell you that is hilarious. Like these dudes literally got a thing, and he be like, "Scissor me, daddy." I'll be like, "Whoa!" But it's hilarious. It's hilarious, y'all. I like the Acclaim. They're funny.
Yeah, and the Edge story.
We can't forget about the Billy and Chuck days.
The Billy and Chuck. Well, you know what? Speaking of million dollar man is in trouble right now with Brett Favre, so he might be staying away from a lot of stuff.
Then they're gonna have Road Dogg and X-Pac are gonna be there.
Road Dogg and X-Pac will be there because Billy Gunn is with AEW, so
Billy can't be there, but
it's gonna be a good show. I'm definitely excited to watch Raw tonight. Definitely excited to watch some Monday Night Football tonight too. So, Chiefs versus Raiders, I think that's gonna be a great game. I got Kansas City. I need Travis Kelce to score 2 touchdowns. I need Pat Mahomes to go over 275 yards. I got money on y'all. I need y'all to go ahead and let my ticket hit. But no, I just think that Kansas City right now, they might have something to say to Buffalo about being the best team in the AFC.
We'll see next week when they play each other.
Oh, I can't wait. Hey, Dustin, it got an X on the calendar, brother.
I gotta check something because I'm just checking. The fact that is not the Sunday night game next week baffles me.
Oh, that's prime time.
The Sunday night game is Eagles and
Cowboys.
That's prime time. Though.
No, Chiefs and Buffalo round 2 should be precedent over that game.
If I could, I would have put Eagles Cowboys as Monday Night Football.
That's Chargers and Broncos.
Yeah, who wants to see that?
Broncos have too many damn primetime games this year.
I would have put Eagles and Cowboys at 3:00 and placed the Chiefs and Bills, and then
I would have put I'd have put Cowboys and Eagles as Monday Night Football, and put the Chiefs and the Bills as Sunday night primetime.
And then start the flex schedule and change some of these games.
Yeah, because I agree with you. I've seen Russell Wilson too much on my screen.
And as of right now, Buffalo is 4-point favorites.
I'm going to Chiefs that game.
And that game is in Kansas City, and Buffalo's 4-point favorites. But everyone knows that when you're the home team, you get 3 points. So technically, Buffalo's 7-point favorites heading into that game.
I got Chiefs winning that game. It's hard to go against the Bills, though. They have a very dominant receiving core. But I just think Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes are going to have something cooking up for them. They gonna have something cooking up for them.
One thing that worries me about the Bills a little bit is their defense. Just
That secondary is shot. That secondary is shot. If that front seven can't get no pressure on you, you can dominate the Bills. You can dominate them.
But can you stop their offense from scoring as well? Though?
Can you stop it? And you can't stop Vaughn.
Hey, Chris, if you thought the Colts and Broncos Thursday night game was a barn burner, wait till this Thursday.
It's the what? Bears and
Washington. That's gonna be
Lord Jesus.
It's gonna be a real barn burner Thursday night.
Hey, y'all better tune in too.
That's gonna be a 10-6 game right there.
Hey, bear down.
That's gonna be a 10-6 game right there. That's gonna be.
Hey, that's gonna be a slobber knock.
Jesus.
Oh man.
You guys got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yes, sir, man. Hope you have a great show with your afternoon betting show. Hey, we talking about the NFL, but you know basketball is right around the corner, baby. And y'all know I don't know too much about baseball, but right now my pick's looking good with the Yankees versus the Braves in the World Series.
It's gonna be interesting. The wild card series were interesting. I'm ready for tomorrow for the get back division series to get started.
Yeah.
Dustin, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to say congratulations to Panama and Nicaragua for being the final two teams to punch their ticket to the World Baseball Classic in March.
Okay.
They finished their play-in round last weekend. Panama was the group champions, and then Nicaragua beat Brazil in the elimination game. So that starts roughly 4 months from today, roughly.
Let's get it.
Also, don't forget, tomorrow morning we'll be back with our baseball show. Me and the stat guy around the bases will preview tomorrow's division, all the division series opening games. Probably talk a little bit about the wild card weekend as well.
But, shout out to y'all baseball show. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it.
Hopefully, get back at it. Last week was a rough one for me with all these. Man, seems like I have a lot of doctor's appointments this month. Put it that way.
It's all right, Gonzo. We just want you to be healthy and ready, baby. We just want you to be healthy and ready, baby.
We'll get there eventually. Hopefully they'll figure out what the hell's going on.
Oh man, you gonna be all good. What he saying? One of my favorite movies of all time. You got an angel out there looking out for you.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. We will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
We go.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.